All right there. How are you doing? It's Saturday evening. I just thought I would pop out for a walk. Get a quick video done. All this info and everything happening. Very interesting stuff. So beautiful day today. It's like, look, blue skies everywhere, and 3 or 4 cracking chemtrails breaking up the sky. Hey, they can't help themselves, can they? But yeah, I'm just walking along there. Over on to my left, beautiful sea, coastal scene there. It's a little bit chilly. It's later on now, I think 6:30, I think, can't remember. I've been out all day. We've been along down to a little country town, I suppose it is, a village or town called Morpeth in Northumberland. They were having they're called the Northumbrian Gathering. We had sort of like Northumbrian pipes, a little bit like bagpipes. We also had some what do you call them again? Morris dancers. You know, Morris dancers, and they had like dancing around with the bells on, jingle jingle, and then they used them big sticks. So I've got a video, I'll show you it on here in a minute. But you know, that's like a martial art, you know. Not many people realise that, but it is part of a martial art, and they're practicing the striking and everything. And we do a lot of weapon work, you know, like knives and sticks, swords and staffs, like big long staffs, 4-foot ones or 6-foot ones. Now a lot of them, what we do comes from Filipino martial arts and Chinese martial arts, but there's a lot of English martial arts that still use those staffs and the sticks. And the origin of the Morris dancing is that martial art, interestingly enough. So have a look at it. But yeah, I'm walking straight down towards the beach now. I'm looking at it and I can see it's clear sky, and I can see however long the horizon is all the way along. It's weirdly flat, you know, that sea. I can't see any curvature anywhere. Very strange. But I did a video, I think yesterday, I think it was, just telling everyone about like the de-dollarization and what's going on right now. You know, this is not a conspiracy theory. You know, I'm not talking about like, you know, not even talking about straw man stuff. I'm actually talking about, you know, stuff that had happened since like the Second World War. You had the Bretton Woods Agreement, 1944, when they agreed, for whatever reason, through the Bank of International Settlements, which is like the central bank of central banks, of central banks, the bank, basically, that the US dollar would be the reserve currency of the world. And there was, I can't remember exactly now, but there was over 200 countries accepted the US dollar would be the reserve currency, and they would link to the US dollar via their gold, and that the US would be buying all of their gold, I think it was $35 an ounce, with the promise that they would give them back, or not give them it back, but sell them it back at the same price. Told you all that. And but what they've done, you know, when they did get rid of the attachment to gold, which was in 1971, and then they sent that scumbag, that hideous creature, Henry Kissinger, over to Saudi to solidify the deal for the petrodollar. You know, straight out of the Club of Rome, him. Horrible, horrible creature. But then, you know, you heard the petrodollar, you've probably heard that many times. And tell you what, I'm just going to turn this around, see if I can. So you can see the beach. There's a yacht out there, a yacht out to sea. It's a bit hazy as it's getting towards, you know, the end. You can probably see the harbour over there. There's a lighthouse flashing. There's flashing there. And up that way, it's like you can usually see the Fiat Hills, which is the border of Scotland and England. Beautiful though, isn't it? Nice evening. Very flat looking. Hi, alright. And anyway, I'll go back. But nice, isn't it? Nice up there. And then there's the woods over on the right hand side as well. But anyway, as what would happen with like you know, any kind of like psychopathic power crazy people like Kissinger and Nixon and all of them, but you know, the cabal that was running everything, which is running the American government, and they obviously got more and more power hungry and crazy. So what they've done was they were like basically threatening any country that they didn't do what they were told, and they would put sanctions on them, you know, and anyone that didn't toe the line and follow the rules or try and do anything that was against American foreign policy or financial policy, they basically killed them or put sanctions on them and ruined the country. They did anything they wanted, so acting like total bullies. That's like, you know, the Committee of 300. Underneath that you had the Club of Rome, who Kissinger was like part of, you know, and he was obviously the instigator for like the Vietnam War and the Korean War. And then he actually got a prize, a Nobel Peace Prize, for stopping the war. He started the bloody thing. Filthy pig of a man. But looking at the King's Arms pub over there, it's lovely in the sunshine. There's a lot of people sitting there. I think I might want to have a quick pint before I go home. So finish the video and go and visit the pub. Sounds like a good plan, doesn't it? But anyway, so we're out at that town, lovely town there. We've seen the Morris dancers, and I've seen that Punch and Judy show. You know, I've never ever seen, you know, I've never ever seen a live one. You know, like at a fair. I've like seen it on TV and everything. But yeah, I was watching this thing, and it's incredibly violent, isn't it? So have a look at this a little bit there, Punch and Judy.
Well, I'm sure there was something to say no there. Anyway, Mr. Punch, you look after the baby, but no silly games and no shenanigans. I want that baby happy and healthy.
But we went and we had some chips. We sat in out in the park. The ducks were all in the river, and I didn't get a video of that. And you know, the rowing boats were there. There was all the kids in the rowing boats up and down the river. Looked good, had a really nice day. And then we went to a farm shop. You know, this is what we're going to do more and more of, and what everyone's got to start doing now. Supporting your local farmers, alright? Supporting your local produce. So, you know, what we're doing is, like, you can see on this farm, I don't actually show you it in the shop, but have a look at this, because behind there's the pigs, and behind that there was the chickens and the goats and everything, you know. So have a look at that. Little pigs, and then coming over, they got the chickens as well. The chickens. Hello, you. Got one digging holes over there, look. Hello. You got any eggs? And there's the goats there, look. He's a little bit far away, that one. There's one over there smashing his head off the off his house. Look. Don't know if he's in a bad mood or he's enjoying himself. Hello. It's nice, so isn't it? Look. This is what we could do with something, well, maybe not a goat like, but grow some food in one of the fields somewhere. And hope they're not going to eat the pigs. Where is he coming up? Oh, cute little goat. Oh dear, right. I'll just have a crap there then in front of the house. There you go. While the other one's beating his head off that. Can you hear it banging? Dear. Hiya. But yeah, so it was a nice afternoon, and then we went and had a quick visit with our son and his wife and the grandson, who he was born. They were all in the hospital at the same time just before Christmas when I fell off my bike and broke my shoulder. I bumped into them by accident in the hospital. You know, they were like, "Oh, hello, what are you doing here? Are you come to see us?" No. But anyway, such adventures. I'll show you this little bit as well down the harbour here. Look, let's have a look. So there's the bridge there, that's the new bridge, well, new now, but not new now, but so the tide's gone out, look, see, so all the boats are lying on the bottom, lying on the mud. I'm going to walk along there. So underneath the bridge, on the far side there, you go through under the bridge, walking, and you go into the woods there. It's gorgeous. Lovely evening. But anyway, so the de-dollarization, this is not some kind of like wild crazy man conspiracy theory. This is happening now. Now you can take it as you want, like, you know, like nobody's going to really know until it happens, but what they're doing is they're fighting back against the US dollar, the US bullying. So, you know, now if you've done any type of research, you'll know that the Ukraine war has been going on for a long time, not what they say, you know, and all backed by the CIA, all like basically a bloodless coup that they did, and then it got very bloody after the coup. But the dollar itself, and like it is all just the US that have been, like, you know, destroying everyone's country, bullying everybody. You know, that's what they've been doing, and they're starting to fight back. You know, you've got other countries that have tried to do it. So, but you know, they put sanctions against Russia, the US. You know, got nothing to do with bloody Ukraine or anything. It was just the opportunity to do it. But it's completely, you know, backfired. Now we're not, you know, we don't know what's going on with Putin. Is he part of it? Is it just a big pantomime? Is it all going to be going pear-shaped anyway? Excuse me. Or are they really doing it? Because it seems that, you know, China, backed with Russia, and the BRICS nations are completely slaughtering the dollar, moving away from the dollar, and there's a lot of countries now dropping it. And I think it could be, you know, they shot themselves in the foot. You know, Sleepy Joe, well, nothing to do with him anyway, you know, whatever he is, or whoever he is. That's just crazy. Thinking he hasn't even got power over his own bowel movements, that lad. But they're actually going against the dollar. Now the most sort of like well-known people, let's say, but countries that went against the dollar, tried to de-dollarize, you know, was Gaddafi. Look what happened to him. You know, that's all that was. Excuse me, got choking down there. Definitely need to go to the pub for a pint now. I've got a dry throat. Any excuse. But what they're doing is getting away from the dollar. So Gaddafi, they murdered him because he tried to move away from the dollar, and he was trying to rally, you know, African countries to go back onto the gold. And then Saddam Hussein, same thing, you know. They were wanting to get rid of the central bank, get rid of the Bank of International Settlements meddling, so they could move away from the dollar. Killed him. Putin's a little bit different, you know. Xi Jinping is a little bit different. Russia and China, and then joining. Now look what Macron's just said and just done. Isn't that shocking? I mean, he's letting his own country burn to bits, but then he's actually, you know, going against the US. Isn't that crazy? Or the UN? Wow. It just, you know, you don't know what pressure. When he went to see, like, Xi Jinping in China, he's probably told point blank, look, you know, you're all losing. You've already lost. The dollar is going to crash. And when it crashes, all fiat currencies that are not moving away from the dollar are going to crash. And the economies and the countries are going to crash. And if you think you've got problems or riots now, right, you've got another thing coming, pal, because they're gonna hang you if they don't use the guillotine on you. That's probably what he told him, you know. So he's coming out and thinking, you know, he's right, you know, because they have lost. And the UK is in a bit of a shit place, like finance wise and government wise, because they're completely linked with the dollar. So that's going to crash and burn. So, you know, if you are not protecting yourself via like moving away from fiat currency as much as you can, getting outside of the banking system as much as you can, you're going to have some serious issues. So, you know, even if it's just buying gold and silver. So I was watching some videos. I follow very closely that Mike Maloney, but also a couple of other precious metal people, and they're all expecting very soon for the precious metals to go through the roof. I don't know if they're right or not, like I'm just following them, but they're all saying it, all these professionals, you know, and people that have got all of their life about precious metals. So very interesting. But also the people that are dealing in the cryptocurrency as well, all saying the same thing. So why would it boom? Well, when the fiat currency completely collapses, and you've seen what is now basically all of the eastern side of the world going against the US dollar and the US, which the UK basically are the US, it's the same thing, then it's, you know, you're going to collapse. And that's what they're going to have this problem reaction solution, isn't it? So they've already got this huge problem. The fiat currency is going to crash, it is going to disappear, and they're going to replace it with the CBDCs. And they'll say, oh, don't worry about that. Now here's the thing. Then when they say don't worry about that, we'll replace all your fiat currency, they'll shut the banks and everyone will be panicking, and they'll say, well, you can get these CBDCs to replace it. You're not going to get what you had. But bear in mind one thing, what you need to do. Anyone who has any kind of debt, credit card debt, bounce back loan, any bank loan, a mortgage, have a look at the contract. They're all contracts. They're all agreements. And they are all set up for one currency and one currency only, which is that fiat currency. Well, you know, whatever one you're in, the US dollar if you're in America or anywhere, you know, like that, or the Canadian dollar, or the British pound. So you no longer have a valid contract with anyone. That's interesting, isn't it? So, you know, if you've got like any type of loan, car loan maybe, car finance, a lot of people asking about that recently, you know, and then just ring them and say, look, I've got, I don't know, £20 here or £100 here, I need to put this towards the payment, and they refuse, so I can't do that anymore. right? And just like say, well, you know, get the details of it, or do it by writing or whatever. And once they actually break that contract, you have no contract. So you know, that smashes that contract. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to like walk away very easily, especially if it's a mortgage, because that's their creme de la creme. They love stealing people's houses off them. But that's going to be an interesting time, and this time is coming. This time is coming fast. All right, it's like I'm going to do a few more videos about like the crash of the dollar, because the dollar is going to pull down all the other fiat currencies. All the fiat currencies will turn to their true value, which is zero. But at the same time, which is the reason why all these other countries are like stacking their gold, because they're linking their currencies to the gold. Now, a lot of them will be digital currencies, and we are going to go digital. You've just got to move with the times. Don't worry about it. You might even have some kind of digital way of doing, I don't know, type of cash payments. There is going to be a dual economy, and you and I are going to be stuck with CBDCs because you haven't paid attention, and you're going to have to be doing everything that you're told to do, even knowing when you go to the toilet and everything. Or you can get yourself involved in other ways in protection, which brings me on to the private trusts thing as well. Now, a couple of people asking questions say, well, yeah, but what makes that, what would make them, like, you know, pay any attention if you had a private trust, right? Or any type of trust? Well, the thing is, right, I mean, you've got to, there is law, and there's trust law. Now, obviously, I'm in the UK, so I know a lot, like, sort of like, you know, on the UK scene. So we have English trust law, which is very long established in equity. So we're talking about equity, all right? That's what we're talking about. It's gorgeous here, absolutely gorgeous. Lovely evening. Apart from the, you probably wouldn't be able to see if I turned around, but there's a couple of chemtrails up in there. But I'm on the dunes now, walking along the sand dunes. It's gorgeous. Very nice. Now, on trust law, international trust law as well as English trust law, you have the Trust Recognition Act. I think it's 1987, but it is on there. And you've got Article 3 and Article 6, and Article 3 is that the trust is recognised as an express trust, which has to be done voluntarily. Well, you know, this trust you're going to do voluntarily. It's not a one of them resulting trusts or a trust from like Set the KV Trust or anything. It's you create a trust, and it also has to be expressed in writing, which is what we're doing. We're actually doing a deed to actually express the trust and protect what is our private property. Equity is set up to protect private property. All right, that's what it's for. Now, the Article 6 says that the settlor has the right to choose the law that will be used for that private trust. All right, so we're going to choose the law. I'm not going to go on about that now, but we will do it, and I can explain it. We've got that course that we're going to be doing. We've been doing a lot of videos on it, which is why I haven't been so many like YouTube videos. I've been so busy with doing all of this course and doing other things and helping so many people. But these trusts have been used for centuries, and these, call them wealthy people, they like to be called the elite. I certainly don't look at them that way, but the trust is the only thing that they do trust. You know, they've put everything in trust. Now, these trusts are used by them. These trusts are used by all these mega wealthy people. They're not going to mess around with it. They're not going to start saying, well, I tell you what, yeah, fair enough. We weren't meant to know about this. They didn't educate us on this. They like they say, equity, anyone who sleeps on the rights has none. You all have rights, but if you don't know what they are, you don't have them. So we've been educating ourselves, fighting hard to, and then being able to pass this on, which is what I've been doing, no matter what anyone says. So they are going to respect the trust because it's their livelihood and it's the way that they actually exist. They exist through trusts. So they're not going to all of a sudden start destroying trusts, because it'll destroy what they've been doing. So that's why. Plus, like I say, it's under the Recognition of Trusts Act, which is protected by The Hague as well, right? International law. So this is a major thing, and that's what makes it stand. It is, the funny thing is, by creating it privately and in equity, all trust law is equity, it actually stands illegally as well, because it's by the Trust Act 1987, and that's UK law and international law. I know it's not really law because it's an act, it's a statute. However, it's what stands for them, so that's what protects us. So when we're getting our private property, and your home is your private property, all right, and property is protected, now you are going to be the beneficiary. Now you're going to set things up in equity, and equity law recognizes the beneficiary as the true owner, right? Check it out, do some research. So you as the beneficiary are going to be the true owner, no matter if it's on the land registry or not. I don't give a monkeys, okay? That's their circus, not mine. Not my circus, not my monkeys. So let them play the games. Private property by equity, that sees you as the beneficiary, as the true owner. So you protect it via a private trust, land registry or not. Sod it. Okay, now you can't put cash or anything like that in. That's a really big Harley bikes up at that in that town as well, when they were doing the fair and the Morris dancing and everything. Yeah, and I had magic shows and that was good up there. Nice day out today. It's been good. And next week, Friday, I'm gonna go in an egg. I'm gonna sit in an egg for a time, just like, you know, sealed off, like, you know, like meditation and silence and healing. I'm looking forward to that. But anyway, so that's why we should be doing these trusts, to like be protecting our private property. Even the cars, fair enough, the DVLA might have that, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's still your private property. So you get that put into a private trust and it's protected because it's in a trust in equity. Again, equity sees the beneficiary as the true owner. Okay? So this is what will protect you if you were ever challenged, if it ever did end up in court. Alright? So that's how you actually do it. So this is why, how everything is changing like this, with this, the fiat currency collapsing, you don't have to go down with it. Alright, this is one ship you don't have to go down with. You can allow them to sink. And when you allow it to sink, okay, you can jump ship. And you can move off into the gold, into the precious metals, into the silver. You can move off into the cryptocurrencies that will not be tied to the fiat currency and sink with them. You know, in every terrible situation there are opportunities. So you need to start seeking the opportunities, finding them now, looking about these different cryptocurrencies. Now I had a lot of people coming and asking me what is pretty basic questions, but they don't know the answers, which is like, how do you get involved, where are the exchanges, you know, what do you do, how do you create wallets. So I'm going to do some very simple information videos for the ones that don't know it. And a lot of people saying, where do you get gold and silver from? I have a local dealer here in Newcastle. He's pretty good, but you know, you have a couple of them online and they've always been fine when I've used them. I've actually just used one just now. Bought a little bit of silver for an Easter present for my grandson. Just a little bit, just a token, so I like to hopefully, you know, kind of allow them to get on the sort of like ladder and entice, you know, others to do it without being sound like a crazy man too often, because some people think I'm nuts. But yeah, there's a couple online. Bullion by post is one, there's another one, I can't remember it. Mike Maloney's I used to use, but it takes too long to come to me because I'm in the UK and he's in the USA. But have a look on YouTube for Mike Maloney, you know, and listen to what he's telling you. So, you know, Robert Kiyosaki also does some great videos. I don't know, I've got some bad feelings about him. I don't know, some weird stuff comes over to me about him. You know, but, you know, some of the information he puts out is just brilliant. Like preparing, he's been running away, you know, like financially and getting out of property and going into gold and silver and hiding it anywhere away from the United States for years now. He's been telling people for years, look, you're going to see the biggest crash, boom. The thing is, it's all planned, you know, but it's a massive war. And I think this time, you know, I don't think you're going to see a world war. I don't think you're going to see nuclear bombs going off. I don't. I think that's pure loosh. I think that's pure, keep everyone down, keep your vibration down, make them all scared. So I think that's it. I don't see that. You know, obviously there's people going to be dying. You know that we've got all of the jelly beans are all kicking in like mad now, and these coincidences are like flying through the roof that nobody seems to want to talk about, you know. But all of these people way younger than me are like dropping like flies. Get over the road quick in case I end up on that list as well. I know, you know, so there are going to be a lot of casualties, but I don't think it's going to be like a big bang, boom, and we're all gone. Not that I would bloody care anyway. Just go on to the next realm and get on to the next adventure and see what other lessons we have to learn. Follow our soul path, that's all we have to do. But anyway, so you've got to keep the vibration high. Well, let them fight this war, let them fight the dollar war and collapse the dollar, and look for the opportunities. Because I think there's going to be massive gains to be made in precious metals, and also massive gains to be made in cryptocurrency. And there's going to be a dual economy, right? It doesn't matter. Listen, criminality exists everywhere. Doesn't matter what happens, there's always criminals that we're going to find a way around the system. Now, obviously, we're not criminals, but if they can find a way, I'm sure we can as well, and be working on that dual system where we will be able to like have access to be able to, you know. That's why I was at that and showing you the farm, like that's what we need to be doing more of, supporting local farmers. You know, if you live in a big city, have a look. Do you know what, I've heard of a couple of like city farms where you can go in and you buy their produce, because you're supporting them anyway, you know, as a small business, but also you're getting away from the supermarkets. That's what we need to be doing. And I'm sorry if you can't do that or if you can't see that. But, you know, I used to be the ship's swimmer in the Royal Navy, which meant I worked on the rescue team. So if anybody ever fell overboard, literally, this is true, I'm not, honestly, right, they would tie a rope to me and I would jump in and go and rescue them. Alright? And I used to practice this all the time. And I remember, I'm pretty sure it was in January 1984, and we went to Aberdeen Harbour, and there was a massive storm. So we were in this harbour and there was massive chunks of ice floating out, you know, like not iceberg sizes, but there was like big piles of ice floating about on Aberdeen Harbour. So anyway, we sailed out of the harbour because it was like getting frozen over into the North Sea, and it was really rough. I got stuck on the forecastle, which is the pointy end of the ship at the front, and I was getting soaked, I was getting battered by these massive waves. But anyway, pretty cold, you know. So then, right, so we're going to do a man overboard exercise the next day when the storm calmed down a bit. Oh, there's a rabbit running across the field into the bushes. I'm glad I haven't got the dog with me. Yeah, so this is right, we're going to do it. So like they did, they throw the life buoy in, you know, the big round orange things. They threw it in, they circle around, they do what they call a lee protection, so they go sideways on to where I have to jump in the water. So then when the tide are open to me, I jump in the water. I mean, I've done it many times. But I mean, you know, we just left Aberdeen Harbour and it's, you know, there's big lumps of ice floating in the sea. Man, yeah, so that's how cold it was. You know, Wim Hof, eat your heart out, pal. So anyway, look at that. It's bloody 2 massive chemtrails up there. Dirty little bastards. And I remember I got back on the ship, went to the shower, and I had the shower on cold, freezing cold shower, right, washing off all the salt water off me, and it was still burning me, right, because I was so cold. I was actually blue. My skin was blue. But anyway, the point is, right, and the whole rescue thing, we actually lost a whole fishing boat full of French fishermen up there in the Hebrides. The same time, few months, I think, or at least a month or 2 later, you know. So we went to the rescue. There was nothing we could do. Lost them all. Didn't ever find the ship or anybody. But the whole point, right, on the rescues were that you can only rescue people who swim towards safety. You can only rescue people who swim towards you, the rescuer. If they're trying to swim away, you can't help them. You got to leave them. It's their problem, right? And this is the same thing. We're giving you this information. We're trying to help you protect yourselves with these private trusts to protect your private property using their tools. Their tools. All right? We're actually using their, not against them, but like to protect us the same way as they do it for themselves, right? And on the financial side of it, you know, start studying on these cryptocurrencies, start studying on the precious metals, because there is going to be a way of getting out, and this is it. So let them have their war, let them have the destruction of the dollar, which will bring down the gold, and the fiat currency will disappear. Start getting out of it now and protecting yourself, right? And you can actually have a better life than what you had before anyway. So my throat is dry. I am going to pop into this pub and help my sore dry throat before I pop home and then put this video up. This is Saturday evening. It's got to be getting close to 7 o'clock. Oh, probably just after, but it'll more than likely, got a sunset going on over there, gorgeous. It'll more than likely be tomorrow by the time I actually do it. Alright, you all take care, and we will chat again soon. So anyway, just in case you didn't believe me, popped into the local pub just round the corner on the way home. So cheers, this is a pint of neck oil, nice bit of IPA, lovely, take care.